Hello everyone and welcome to February 2023 Coffee and Card, and I'm Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk, and I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. And this month we're looking at the Friendly Gnomes, which has matching dies and also goes with, I just got this out, you have to excuse the coffee stain on this one. You can see how well used it's got coffee stain. But also it goes with the Kindest Gnome set, which is now retired, but from the last mini catalogue, the June to December one, or July to December one. So these two really go well together and the dies work on both of them. So today we're just going to make this little card here. So let's get going. Right, I'm filming later in the day than I would do normally, so the sun is streaming in. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Right, so I've coloured our little gnome in with some alcohol blends, with our alcohol pens, and I've kept them all together so I know what I'm using. So if you want to gather your supplies, I am using the Highland Heather Dark and Light. I am using two of the skin tone ones, and I'm using SU1000 and SU900, which are the two palest ones. I'm also using Light Crumb Cake, Dark and Light Pool Party, and for the balloon I've used Dark Daffodil Delight. So obviously if you've got the Stampin' Right markers, you can use those. You can use pencils, you can use the alcohol markers, you know, the world is your oyster. So let's get going. The thing, also what I've also used is one of these lovely little fun flower shapes, which are in the current catalogue, and I just thought that little yellow flower to match the little balloon looked really cute there. So you'll have one of those in your kit, as well as our usual envelope, a piece of basic white, thick basic white made into a card base, scrap of white for your sentiment, and then two deckled rectangles, one for stamping, one for mounting, and then this strip. Now this is from some designer series paper that at the time of recording was in the clearance rack. It's always worth having a look at the clearance rack. I paid like, you pay half price for these things and they're still gorgeous and go with everything as well, so it's always worth keeping an eye out on the clearance rack. Right, so we'll do our stamping and colouring. So we need some Memento Black, which I have here, and then I have my two stamps cleverly stuck together on here. So I'm again using the little girl. I'm just going to stamp her over to the left, and that way we have room for her balloon. Do not get ink on your thumb. Okay, so excuse my head. I'm just going to pop that straight with my grid paper and then pop her up a bit and off to the left. Probably done her a bit higher this time than I did last time. Yep. So that's a nice clear image for colouring in. And then I'm going to stamp the balloon, and if you can see from here, I've just stamped the balloon so that she's just holding it in her hand. So let's just get the balloon. Okay, and I'm just gonna pop my head in the way, so I've just put the end of the balloon in the crook between her thumb and fingers. Try not to rock with it being such a thin. You can see I rocked it there, so it's a bit thicker, but that's fine. It's handmade, not mass produced, as I keep saying. Right, so I'm going to start off with my light Highland Heather. Do you know, I'm going to pop this cardigan on. I love this cardigan, but the flared sleeves are not good for crafting in. Just pop that off. There we go, that's better. Right, okay, so now, although this is a big area, there is quite a bit of detail, so I'm going to use the narrower end of this, and I'm just going to colour in. Obviously you can take much more time over this than I am doing, and add shading if you want and all sorts of clever stuff. So sorry, the squeaky noise. Okay, so I've roughly covered the undetailed bit there. You just go back and go over the white spaces, and then we're going to come down, colouring around the brim, around her face. There we go. And then, in theory, you can actually go over this flower in the light because you are going to colour it in with the dark, but I didn't want to colour in the centre, so I thought if I was a bit over exuberant I'd end up colouring in the centre as well, and I didn't want to do that. Right, so there's her flower, and while I'm doing this I'm just going to colour in her gloves, which are also Highland Heather, and her little shoes. There we go. Anything else? No, that's it. Right, so now I'm going to get the darker Highland Heather, and again with the nib end, I am just, rather than the brush, just going to colour in the rest of the flower. And I think, yes, that's all I've done in this colour. If you wanted to do shading and detail on her clothes and on her shoes, then, you know, obviously you could add it at this point if you wanted. And then I'm just going to add the thin end, just going to add a little yellow centre to that flower. I think I might have used Pool Party last time. Right, just going to go and colour my balloon in. I do tend to find I actually use the nib end more than I use the other end, because you've just got a little bit more control of where it goes. So, okay, and then I'm going to colour in her clothes. So we've got a white, Pool Party jumper, and this is light Pool Party that I'm doing here. And again, getting in there between the details, and I've left her a white blouse. Which is quite detailed, this one. To be fair, they all are. I think I've used all of them in this set for this month. Yep. There we go. Oh, I did her socks as well in pale Pool Party. Now, on the first one, I was a bit exuberant and coloured in the little fasteners on the shoe, so I thought I'd give her some golden buckles today. So, a little bit more yellow on this one than there are on the others. Just little dots to get that tiny weeny little bit coloured in. Okay, and then what I did, because I thought, I'm still not sure, I've done the ends of her plaits as little bows, so I've just coloured them in using the dark Pool Party. But I suspect they might possibly be hair. So, now we're doing the hair, so we're doing with, I'm going to do the hair actually with the brush end, because it sort of asks for it somehow. So I'm just sort of colouring in each bit of the plait with the brush end. You just do what feels right for you. These do come, as I say, they're from Stampin' Up. They all come in packs of 2, or you can buy the skin tone ones in a pack of 10. I got here SU100. I love the SU900. There it is. Itchy nose. So, and each of the packs of 2 come in a light and a dark. Let's see. Yeah, I know I wanted to use the other end because I've got that little bit there. There we go. So I'm just colouring in a face, all one colour, and then I'm going to highlight the cheeks a little bit. There we go. And then with the slightly darker one, I'm just going to give her a little bit of pink on her cheeks there. Doesn't stand out hugely, but I think it's nice. Right, so there we go. There's our little lady all coloured in. So, just need to glue her to our wrong way around. I've cut these out using the deckled rectangles. If you haven't got these yet, you need to get them. They're brilliant. They layer up nicely and they just give you nice rectangles with a bit of interest on the edge. I use them all the time. As the ladies who come to my class will attest. Forever using these. Right, okay, so I now just need to get the stamp, and I think I'm going to go with Love You Again. I'm tempted to go with Spring Is Everywhere. Should we do Spring Is Everywhere? I was thinking, because if you did Spring Is Everywhere, and then you could make it an Easter card by putting Happy Easter inside. I thought would be really nice. Spring is everywhere. And basically with this, I've just stamped it on the corner. I've given you a piece of white card and I've just stamped it in one corner and then cut it out using my scissors. Or you can do it using your trimmer, whichever you prefer. So, and I did that in Highland Heather. If you don't have Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape would do. Oh, cat hair. I've got cat hair on my stamp. And we do not want that. On my ink pad rather, we don't want that transferring onto the stamp. So I've just done it in the bottom corner there. Okay, Spring Is Everywhere. And I'm just thinking I need to leave, because I need to leave it a bit longer so that I can put the flower on. So I'll show you how to do it with your trimmer. So we just, when you're cutting off little bits, you put the shorter measurement to this side so that it stays nice and straight. And I've just sort of eyeballed it to where the trimmer is. Just going to move it in a little bit, and I'm just looking through the guide here. There's various little undulations on here so you can line it up with. So I'm just going to cut it there. Okay, and then I'm thinking I need space just to pop that flower on. That's probably too long. You can always cut more off. You can't glue it back on again. You've more if you cut it too short. It's not a problem. Okay, so now we've got a little piece with our sentiment on. And I'm just going to add my little flower, if I can find my pokey tool. So a nice wide range of colours these. So again, nice little one to have in your stash. Right, so of the two, I've used the bigger one. It is alive. Yeah, I'm just going to pop it there, which I think looks rather cute. Spring is everywhere. And I'm just going to put that, where are we going to put it? Let's make the card and see. So, the rest of my stuff is here. So I'm going to start with this, which is just going to go to one side. For those of you who want to remake this card, this piece is 6 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres. So it just goes over halfway. And I think that just finishes it off nicely. Because all that purple background might be a little bit too much. Make sure your writing's the right way up. And then I've just stuck it down with a evenish border around the outside. And then I'm just going to shoot that way a little bit. That's the nice thing about Tombow, you've got that little bit of wiggle room. So, you can put it in the middle. Do you know, I think I will. So with the Love You, I actually put it over there and I had the sentiment there. But because this sentiment's a bit bigger, I'm actually going to put this more central and then just glue my sentiment on just there. Cool. Right. It's always a work in progress, these cards. I hope you're enjoying the new year. Don't forget Celebration's on, so those of you who bought the gold kit for this got a freebie. Most of you chose the Dainty Flowers designer series paper because it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm on my second pack as your freebie. So that finishes at the end of this month. Used to be longer. So, because I don't want this to sort of curve down, I'm just going to put glue in this top corner here. It's enough to fix it, but it won't make it slump. There it is. I couldn't find the glue. Let's just double check. Yep. So I'm just going to put glue here. It's wiggling because I've got the flower on. Okay, and I'm just going to pop that there. Is that straight? I think it was. So it's a little bit raised from the rest of the card. It's just glued down there. So I hope you enjoy making that card, and I shall see you next week for week 2. Take care. Bye.